Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Homeopathic Services. My name is Pierre Fontaine. I've been a professional homeopath for about 25 years. On Tuesday at 2 p.m., I talk about weight loss. I talk about weight loss because I believe I figured a lot of things out by talking to people, by reading, by doing research. A lot of it came because I am heavily dedicated and involved in autism. And what does autism have anything to do with weight loss? Well, not much, frankly. But because there is so much involvement with diet, because kids on the spectrum suffer from multiple conditions, really physical conditions. Most of them have severe gastrointestinal problems. Then I paid a lot of attention on the GI tract. The GI tract evidently is crucial to understand in order to lose weight. So there you go. Long story short, that is how I came to figuring out a few things regarding weight loss. I figured it out also from a personal point of view for myself, because I needed to break this nut open. Break this nut open. Why did I go over this? Why did I get involved with weight loss? Well, like I said, it came, if you will, from a different angle, from treating children on the spectrum, like I just mentioned, but also because there's a 95% failure rate. There's a 95% failure rate. When there's a 95% failure rate in something, well, if I have the opportunity, I'll give it a few thought. Giving a few thought did help. So today we have a this is a very exciting show. It's a lot of information, very different information from what I usually give. I talk about the key component of losing weight is getting in touch with God. We'll go over it today. But there's a lot of research. I have three in front of me, three research papers. So one of them was sent to me. It's titled Weight Flux Alters Molecule Profile. The other one I briefly talked about last week, but didn't have time to talk about it in details. It's titled The Mysterious Interior World of Exercise. And there's a third one, because I do want to talk about homeopathy today. I want to talk about homeopathy because it makes absolutely perfect sense. The more we find out, the more science finds out about how the body actually works, the more it confirms homeopathy. So that is really simple. It's a straight line. It's a straight line. So I'm going to talk about all this research, what's going on in the body, what is going on in the body when we lose weight. These broadcasts started a few months ago now, about 3 months ago, with one basic question. The basic question was, when we lose weight, where does it go? And actually, most people cannot answer the question. Even doctors cannot answer the question. So what happens when we lose weight? Where does it go? Well, the simple answer, and the only answer there is that we breathe it out. 85% of the weight we lose is CO2. It is reprocessed out of our body. CO2 is taken in and we breathe it out. It is that simple. 15% is water, 85% is CO2. Okay, we breathe it out. When we break down fat, that's what fat will break down into, CO2. Why? Because plants absorb CO2, and then we eat the plant or the meat or whatnot. We eat our food, and that is converted, which has been turned, because of photosynthesis, has been turned into sugar. That is absorbed, and it is stored in the body as fat most of the time. And that's why when we break it down, it returns to CO2. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that's simple. 85% is CO2 of the weight we lose, and 15% is water. That's all it is. End of the story. So, well, we'll learn something today. So now, last week I mentioned the mysterious world of exercise, and science is very surprised that they are biochemical messages, okay, that float around in particle-like balloons, that float around the body in particle-like balloons in the bloodstream, going from one cell to another. And these particles, this balloon-filled particles, talk to each other. They talk to the cell. The paper says, for some time, scientists have suspected that the body's internal organs are as gossipy and socially entangled as any 8th grade classroom. So cells, they are balloon-looking vesicles, particle-filled balloons that float around the body when we exercise. And because they float around the body, then all parts of the body benefit from this communication, benefit from the exercise. Okay, and that's why the reaction, if you will, the reaction to exercise is throughout the body. It is not limited to just your legs, if you will, if you're a runner, or limited to a musculoskeletal system. No, it covers it all. And that makes perfect sense. I don't know why, frankly, it comes as a surprise. Okay, and the other surprise of these vesicles, of this balloon filled with particles, were thought to be carrying waste, cellular waste. But these microscopic vesicles released in the bloodstream were once thought to hold cellular garbage, and if the cells were heaving, as if the cells were heaving out their trash. That's an odd thought to me. It is an odd thought because there's no such a thing as trash in nature. We create trash, yes we do. But in nature, there is no such a thing. And even the trash will be processed over millions of years. So even our trash will still go back. So there's no such a thing as trash. Even CO2. CO2 is reprocessed. Fat is reprocessed into CO2. We breathe it out. The plants take it up again. And that's it. There's really no trash. So that thought was a little bit surprising to me. All of this to say, once again, that exercise, we should not be surprised that exercise is a whole body endeavor. Okay? And so when I say that when we exercise, we should really focus our attention to the particular parts we want to alter. You know, if we have a big butt, that's where we should focus our attention. If we have a big pot belly, that's where we should focus our attention. I've given examples two examples of personal events for me, where I wanted to develop the sartorius muscle in the thigh, and I wanted to develop the flanks of my abdomen, and I focused the attention. I focused the attention just like an athlete, what he is going to do during his or her performance. It is not that complicated. It is basic rehearsal. Okay? Why? Because we have a whole body experience. It is a whole body experience. And in that sense, homeopathy talks about, the classical homeopath talks about taking the totality of symptoms. The totality of symptoms. So I just received a call 5 minutes ago, actually, for someone with he's calling for his wife, and he had he's asking me questions regarding thyroid issues and all that. And I said, well, he said, well, they have 5 centimeters enlarged. Okay, great. But what are all the symptoms? Thyroid happens to actually develop multiple system problems, okay? And so we have to take a look at all of that in the individual characteristics, okay? Why do I mention this? Again, I mention it because homeopaths have recognized that taking a constitutional case requires the totality, okay? Just like there are this particle-filled vesicle floating around our bloodstream when we exercise, communicating as much as an 8th grade class, gossiping as much as was 8th grade class. That is fantastic, and it confirms that homeopathy is on the right track, has been on the right track. There's only this idea that because it's such a minute amount, what can it do? That is only a detail, okay? But it is absolutely correct to do so, to take the totality. The totality is absolutely crucial because we cannot take just the parts. I very often say, your stomach doesn't walk in. Your large intestine doesn't walk in if you have IBS. Your stomach, if you have ulcers, is not the one who walks in. You walk in. So that's why it's your experience of it all. And so exercise releases this particle-filled vesicles that travel the body and give multiple messages to all the cells. Okay? So now the second article I want to mention, also to confirm the idea that the totality is absolutely crucial in a case, and not just take the parts. And that is one of the many beauties of homeopathy. The many beauties of homeopathy is that we do take the totality. So we see that in exercise, there is communication among all the cells. And make no mistakes about it. I've talked about this many times. It talks to the bacteria inside of us. This symbiosis, this environment, this organic, bacterial, viral, 10 times greater than human cells. That is fabulous to know. It is fabulous to find approving. It approves what we have been talking about. So now I want to connect with another level because regarding homeopathy, because there is another article here, how childhood trauma can affect your long-term health. Well, as we take the totality of today, someone with ulcers, someone with IBS, someone with MS, someone with Crohn's disease, someone with rheumatoid arthritis or chronic urinary tract infection or PMS, not only the totality, it's not only the totality of today, but it's the totality of our lives. Because here we have, also in the New York Times, one of my research gold mine, we have that it can affect childhood, can affect your long-term health. And they call this, and this particular article speaks really to the adverse childhood events, ACEs they call it. Okay, for example, a child with asthma gets the pump, but the pump is not enough. What happened? Okay, what was really the experience of the child? Okay, what is the experience of the child? So when someone walks in with IBS and is 40 years old, as it says here, can affect your long-term health. So it is very common for people to be surprised when I ask about childhood. Well, I'm 40 years old. What does it have anything to do? And I've had the ulcers for only the last 5. Of course you do. Yes, ulcers for the last 5 that you know of, number one. But also let's arc back and let's see if there's a pattern. It is up to me as a homeopath to figure this out, frankly. But let's see if there's a pattern. What is it? It's just information. We're just talking. So nothing is harmful, you see. But it is absolutely, the totality is not the totality of today, but it is the totality, or as much of it, of our lives. You see, that's when a constitutional remedy helps. And so to arc back now to the idea of losing weight, being absolutely 100% efficient in doing that, 100% successful in doing that, that is absolutely crucial to have the pertinent information. So if someone, I usually say on this program, the cutoff is about 50 pounds. Above 50 pounds, one needs to get a homeopathic remedy in order to make the effect of long-lasting, permanent weight loss stick. Okay, one should take a homeopathic remedy, and that's what we will do. We will go over today's life, today's experience, as well as back. And this is actually confirmed now in these articles. And I think there's something very interesting right now. It's in the end, the last paragraph. Right now, I think there are a tremendous number of people in our country who are recognizing that trauma lives in the body. Now, they're talking about trauma, that is the purpose of this article. I don't think it has to be trauma. We know so as homeopath, been doing this for 25 years. We know that it doesn't have to be trauma. And who actually can define trauma? Very often you talk, I have a 33-year-old, you see, 33-year-old, so there's been lots of traumas. We all have them, okay? There is a single person who hasn't had a trauma in his or her life, okay? So, so my 33-year-old has come up with the strangest thing. Like one day, I told her how to eat a carrot soup, and you're like, gee whiz, it's not the time. Maybe I. It's when we live in Brooklyn. You see, something you never would have thought was a trauma. So we all have traumas. Some are bigger than others or more significant than others. Sometimes the trauma is not very significant, but like my daughter with a carrot soup, it stuck for a long time. Sometimes the trauma may seem to be significant and is completely washed away. I've had many discussions with friends and people, patients and people I know about this matter, and it comes out of left field. You know, you're having a conversation in the car, you're driving, going upstate, and all of a sudden something comes out. Oh yeah, you remember when you broke my pen? No, I don't know. So recognizing childhood adversity as a risk factor for how we're going to deal with stress in the present is really important. So these articles confirm the reality that has been, the homeopathic reality that has been for a very, very long time, that the totality matters. There's a logic to it, and not only a logic to it, but not only the totality of today, but the totality all the way back to childhood. Okay, so now, question. Boy, I was on a tear. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's like 20 minutes. I was on a tear. Because when you read these things, you get really excited. You know, I get very excited as a homeopath. I think, you know, we've been doing all this almost against all odds, and it confirms. I mean, what science is coming up now, it really confirms every single aspect of what homeopaths have been talking about now for a very, very, very long time. So now, I've talked about how they are surprised that these particle-filled vesicles are floating around in the body, triggered by exercise, organizing the entire body, organizing all the cells in the body into the endeavor of exercise. Okay, that is fantastic. Okay, I don't think we ought to be surprised. We ought to be happy that it confirms logic. You see. Now, the third article that was forwarded to me with weight flux alters molecular profile. Right. So the goal here was to characterize what happens during weight gain and loss. These researchers were use logic, you know. I mean, let's use logic. So they was very surprised that with modest weight gain, 6 pounds, the human body changed in dramatic ways. Bacteria population morphed, immune responses and inflammation flared, molecular pathways associated were altered, the body system recalibrated, and they figured they even more so. One of the researchers says, I didn't expect 30 days of overeating to change. It was a 6 pound weight gain. Huh? Didn't expect 30 days of overeating to change the whole heart pathway. Well, I mean, why not be surprised? We've been talking about this. This is fabulous, you see. It's fabulous because if we use logic, I really think we can get quite a long way. And this is fabulous because we've been talking about this. Everybody who's been following this broadcast has already, by logic, knows this. You see? You already know this. You know that bacteria will change with exercise. Your bacteria will change with diet. Your bacteria will change temporarily with diet. It will, okay? And so on it went. Let me get rid of the note I put on there. And they're thinking that they have to do what they call it now, precision health. It's a focus on precision health, trying to measure, to put in so many parameters that somehow they're going to figure it out. I'm not so sure about that. That's also logic dictates that, okay? Because this only takes a molecular production. It only takes a microbial. Some of them we know from this broadcast that we know less than 2% of all microbes in the body. So it only talks about one here, but it takes all of these measurements. Why is it not going to lead to great health all around? Very simply, because it does not take experience, the human experience of illness, into consideration. It just takes some parameters. That's it. It only takes parameters. It is not a human experience of illness. And that's really in order to get rid of it, in order to heal illness, we need to have the experience, the individual experience. So, once again, how does this relate to this broadcast that is only about, or mainly 95% about weight loss? As I mentioned, if this broadcast is geared to people who need 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds to lose 50 pounds at most. It is not meant to be for more weight than that. Or unless you get a homeopathic remedy from a reputable homeopath. That's it. But it is important to understand that we've been talking about this for a long time, since the time this broadcast started. Since the time this broadcast started, we've been saying that all cells talk to each other. We've been saying that bacteria talks to cell, and viral matter talks to bacteria, and fungal matter talks to viral matter and bacterial matter, and vice versa. It's a two-way street. And of course, the 10 trillion human cells are also communicating with this, as we see in the article regarding particle field balloons or vesicles, they call them. Of course, all of it communicate. There is nothing that is living its corner without any communication whatsoever from anywhere else. That does not happen. It does not happen in the body. It is not logical. So in essence, we cannot treat just a part, okay? Because all part, every single cell, being bacterial, human, talk to each other. And so therefore, one has an effect on the other, so far away in the body, in a remote location of the body. So when I talk about exercise, that is phase 2 of this system, of this weight loss system. When I talk about exercise, that is why I think it is best to be, in a way, meditative about it, to visualize our bodies into it. It totally confirms what physical science says too. We incorporate all of this into ourselves. And when I go out to run, now I have a body part to to focus upon. Now, this may sound paradoxical or opposite of what I just said. No, I'm using the whole body in order to focus on one body part that I want to alter, that I want to shape in the way that I think it should be shaped in. Okay, it makes my exercise a little bit more exciting and dimensional than just running, or just running to lose weight. It gives my body a better purpose. It gives my body multiple form. It satisfies a part of me that is not just linear. I run, therefore I lose weight. That's, after a while, I'm going to get tired, you see. So I think it is best to do it that way. I think it is best to add, and if we're going to do sport, we might as well emulate athletes. This is exactly what athletes do. That is, we're going to have the Winter Olympics once again. We're going to have the Winter Olympics, and we're going to see people completely visualize their routine. This can be done not only with ice skating or a downhill racer, because most likely we are not, but as for some of us who are going to hit the gym, then we can focus on the deltoids. You see, we're going to focus on our deltoid. That's one part. Deltoid. I do deltoid. I focus on it. I shape it myself. I put intent into it. That is the point. Okay? That is the point. It makes it much more useful. It makes me, I think, much more interesting than going, you see, I mean, this is, and if that is your stick, that's all great, makes as much noise. I tend to do the same thing. So, when I run, oh my God, 25K. It's not easy. It needs to be done. It needs to be done because we want to lessen inflammation. We know that 6 pounds makes a difference. We know for sure. Well, now we know we have proof, black on white. Weight flux alters molecular profile. We know black on white right now, big time. These guys are from where? Stanford. This is the big, heavy-duty, heavyweight type of guys. So we do it with purpose. Let's do things with purpose. This way, we monopolize a vital force into it. If we monopolize a vital force into what it is that we want, the way we want to be shaped, it will help us. It is benevolent. It gives us life. It is benevolent. I mean, really, let's use it. Let's be on top of it rather than the other way around. Most of us are dependent on our body, meaning we are not on top of our bodies. Okay? We don't control our bodies enough. The yogis can even control their heartbeat. So let's control how much deltoid you want, or thigh muscle, or abs, or or whatever, you see. Let's have some sense, some ways of controlling our body. I talk to my body all the time. Not I'm not what is it called? Not second. I got a healthy ego, but I'm not narcissistic. I'm not narcissistic, but I talk to my body. My body, my I mean, thank you. Really, I love it. I love it. I have to love it. I love it. Thank you. I am alive. So I love it. But it can you know, it may want, it can do its own thing. So we have to put, that's why the brain is on top of it. The brain is on top of it because it will trickle down, you know. So it literally trickles down from here, this box, all the way down through the body. So let's have some control over it. Then we're talking about control over weight. Okay, we can have control over it. We can have control over the body. If it is difficult to breathe, just be at peace with your body. That is what I mean. When I talk to it, when I go for a run, and it is difficult, and I didn't run for 5 weeks. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. But I talked to it. I didn't run for 5 weeks, and let me tell you, the first time out was difficult. I did not run the length of the distance I wanted, and I ran 30K. I could run 5 weeks before I ran 30K. I did not. I 10. It was hard. 10 was hard. Oh, in the cold. Oh, can this winter be over soon? This winter cannot be over soon enough. But if we go back to this, yeah, I did. You know, this was no surprise. I didn't expect 30 days of overeating to change the whole heart pathway. That is from a molecular point of view. Well, the reason why I say it's logical, a little bit facetiously earlier, it is logical because we know that we know that if we don't exercise for 5 weeks, just like I mentioned, and that first time out is going to be really difficult. That I can tell you, it was really difficult. It was so hard, and I did not cover the distance I wanted to cover in the fashion, in the way, or in the time that I wanted to cover it. I was surprised. I'm like the scientist here. I was surprised. I thought I would do better. But we know we should not be surprised. We should not be surprised. It is just like thinking. It is just like logical thinking. Let's prime this neuron. Let's prime this body all the time. All the time. Prehistoric man apparently spent 15,000 calories a day. Whoa, that is a whole lot more than we do. You know, we're preaching the 2,000 calories a day. They're 15,000 calories they estimate. That is crazy because a guy on the Tour de France cycling, 8 to 10,000 calories a day. So 15,000 calories. I don't know how to figure this out, but that is major. Now you need some serious food to compensate for that. Really serious food. So I think they had a lot of food. They seem to. They probably were not starving much, okay? Because to survive at 15,000 calories a day, that's a whole lot. I ought to find where that article was in order to substantiate it for the broadcast, just to show that I'm not talking nonsense here. Okay, so exercise, all this has been about exercise. I haven't talked much about exercise since I've been talking about this this system of weight loss. I do think we should all be exercising. As it says, 6 weeks alters our health. And let's do something for our health. Let's do something for our health so that we are a little bit more in control of our body. Let's love our bodies. Let's talk to our bodies. It is here for us, and it can do a whole lot. I teach my daughter to talk to her body. She talks to her body. She loves it very much. You know, yesterday, so we go for our run, and almost every time I remind her, You see, almost every mind. Love your body, and if you love your body, you will love yourself. That works. The reverse will be true. The reverse will be true. We will shine. We do shine. We do shine because we are sunshine, in essence. When we eat food, that's basically the energy we get. We get the energy from the sun. That's why I've talked on this broadcast, we are all sunshine. That is essentially, food is absorbing the sun energy in a solid form. That is really in the ultimate final step of it. That's what it is. Which is why we breathe out CO2 and water when we lose weight. So, oh my Lord, that was well, another tirade. Another tirade. I hope not a rant. That was not a rant. Just fabulous. I'm just so happy with all this. It does seem like there is a consensus, just like this doctor says, just like this Dr. Harris mentions. There's a tremendous number of people in our country who are recognizing that these things live in us, and we ought to take a totality approach. A totality, not only the totality of the present, but the totality in length of time as well. Going back to our childhood is no longer a crazy thing. I have actually in the last few weeks pointed out some of these aspects when people call to make an appointment. It ought not be. It's not because it is not done at your doctor's office. It is not because your rheumatologist doesn't do it that it should not be done. It is not because the IBS doctor is not doing it that it should not be done. The way we take a case in homeopathy is the way is absolutely the way to take a case completely. If we're gonna heal, we need to know, and in order to know, we have to know the person's experience in life, the person's experience of having 40, 50, 60 pounds more weight than should. What is the experience of that? What is the human experience of that? That cannot be measured like this, like in this molecular profile. That cannot be measured. What is the human experience? That is what is key in order to lose it, because then the remedy will just give resonance to that experience and therefore get rid of it. It is the experience that made the weight gain possible. It is the life that made the weight gain possible. And so if we match this to a remedy with a similar experience, then we get rid of it. It simply goes. Then the bacteria will adapt to that change. The viral matter will adapt to that change. You see, all these parameters, all of these molecular profile parameters will change once it is canceled out. You see, it will change. It will go. It will change faster than anything else. You see, it is that is the beauty of homeopathy, and the fact that it gets more and more confirmed that the ways of going about taking a case is more and more confirmed. Really is after 25 years very gratifying, I have to say. So we've talked quite a bit about exercise. finally, this was something that phase two was lacking in the broadcast. Let's continue with it. So exercise doesn't have to be strenuous. Okay. Exercise does not have to be strenuous. As long as we put a focus on it, as long as we are on top of our body, as long as we communicate with our body. We've talked about molecular communication today. As long as we communicate with our body and not see it as something remote that needs to lose 30 pounds, and I hate it this way. I hate my body. I hate my what? No. Even if it is 30, 40, 50 pounds, maybe. No, it's okay. It's fine. Let's love it. Let's come on top of it. That's why the brain, like again, is on top of it. Let's communicate with it. Let's be in control of it more. Maybe not 100%. Maybe not like the yogis who can control their heart rate. Okay, and if you can do that eventually, great, fantastic. But let's control our body. Let's love our body. Let's recognize, oh, maybe we should have been more together. Let's love it. We love our body no matter what, how it is. That is the first step. Come back to me. Let me and live in you. I am in my body. I love it. I need it to be able to do what it is that I want to do. 105. I want to live to 105. I want to do it. And I'm asking my body. I talk to my body. We need to get there. We need to get there. And in order to get there, we have information. We have information. We have the information I shared today. We have the information that I will never share, but you will find out. You have information from past broadcasts. You have information in all the videos I make. Let's be in love with it. We want to be in love with it. Religion has a little bit of an issue with that. Let's live in love with it. Okay, I love you. I love my body. I love you. And you and I are going to be so tight. We're going to be so great. We are going to be great. We are great. You may not be exactly what you want. So let's be honest. But okay, let's take it. And one step at a time, we're going to go towards that goal, and we are not going to fail in that goal because we have proper information, because now we are together. It is not like those systems that say, my body, it needs to lose 30 pounds. No. We need to lose 30 pounds. We are together in this. It is a fabulous, fabulous endeavor that's going to make you healthier. By being healthier, you will be clearer-minded. You will find stuff out. You will be able to connect to things you never connected before. It is not just a weight. It is a whole experience. That is the point of this broadcast today. It is the whole experience. The whole experience, not only the molecular experience, not only the vesicle fill, no, what was it? The particle filled vesicles, not only ACE, childhood traumas, which is hard to define. It is not only about that, it's a whole experience. It's a whole experience, and this is why this system does not fail. It gives it gives the information that is needed. It gives far more information programs out there. Did you see my video last week? Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, that. Or you go either Pierre Fontaine CCH or I think I posted it on HS, Homeopathic Services. Folks, the reason why I advocate a diet that nurtures your heart as well as your body, and for some your soul, is because it ought not be difficult. So I end up on this. I threw the papers out, but I end up on a Facebook page for what is called functional diet, functional something diet, provided by your MD truly, not me, not an MD, professional homeopath, but the comments so this doctor and a whole slew of others, to be frank, pushing this diet that is so difficult for people to follow that people feel guilty. How can you get back? So they say they're treating multiple sclerosis, all kinds of diseases, right? Yet people are saying, I feel guilty, I am good for nothing, I have no willpower, I can't do this, it is torture. And people who are chiming in say, you should do mantras. Pull yourself by the boot. And the doctors are saying, took me almost 20 years to refine this treatment where you feel guilty, you feel like crap, basically, and you have no willpower and you don't see anything happening. Took me over almost 20 years. 20 years. If I have MS, I don't want to wait for 20 years. And 95%, and if you do 95%, and that 5% is the crucial part of my diet in order for you to lose weight. When somebody is asking you 100% of something, walk away. I was going to say something else. Walk away. All right. That is so hard. What I'm saying, set you free. It sets you free from having relevant information to know what is going on in the body. I ask you to set yourself free, come to peace with your body, and walk that road of weight loss. Follow your body biological food clock and food that nurtures you, as well as emotionally, physically, and possibly on for your soul. My God. I always wonder how I'm going to feel this time, and I always run out of time. Thank you so much for listening to this. Next week I will talk about food because I had some guests over last week, and I was talking about diet, and one of the ladies said, "Really? I mean, I grew up on bad food," and I've mentioned on this podcast that this is not about junk food. I'm assuming a percentage of the food you eat. When I talk about diet, I'm assuming the percentage of the food you eat is organic. Organic. Not only because it's organic, but organic because it prevents certain things from being in the food that you don't want to be in the food. I mentioned pink slime last week. So it's just to prevent that. It's just to make sure the food you eat is actually edible. It's okay. It can actually be processed. So that is our basic understanding. Okay, let's not go way. Oh, what about if I eat McDonald's? I eat McDonald's every day. Not so sure that ever happened. Although I did have spoke with a family where the child was with the in-laws, and yeah, they took the kid to a fast food joint, and that's just not a thing to do. Okay, so thank you so very much. Very exciting show. I think a lot of information. I'm told I give a lot of content, but get to the point in the first minute. I hope I got to the point in the first minute. I kind of forgot about it, actually, at the beginning. But I will do so each and every single time, promise. Thank you so very much for listening. This was great. It's a lot of information. Go over it. Thank you very much. I love you. We are all sunshines. You're the sunshine of my life. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye.